there is so much going on in the reality TV world. So we got to talk about it. We got to dish about it. So without further ado, let's get started. Hit it. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sir Q. I am your host of Sounds of Sir Q, and I hope you guys have been liking what you see thus far, but I want to jump right into it with the hot topics. Look, let me just say there's so much that's going on, right? Of course, I can't stop talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and reason being is because there's so much that's transpiring on the show. Needless to say, season Sweet 16 is very sweet, just like the Georgia Peaches that they are. And I'm saying that because of what has transpired thus far. Now, I'm wanting to make light of, the situation as much as possible because we both know how truly sensitive everything is right now. And although, the show is giving good ratings, it's not good where the ladies are, as far as like the dynamics are concerned. A lot of friendships have been broken, since they first began filming. And, it's really sad just to see all this play out. I mean, the divide, within the ladies is just, utterly ridiculous. And, I mean, again, it's sad. The series of events that led to Kenya Moore's suspension. I mean, I wish I wish there was a different way that things could have been handled. But when it comes to production, and of course this was escalated. So even though this is a television show, a reality TV show more so, it's still a job for these ladies. So things were escalated pretty much to like, HR, so it really was something that was extreme. And so because of that, I'm pretty sure that's why they had to make the, executive decision to do what they did to Kenya. And it's sad. It's very unfortunate, and I wish things would have played out differently, but it is what it is. Only thing I can say at this point is, hopefully this is a learning experience for Kenya. It's just one of those things, though, that a lot of times, when you do certain things during filming, now mind you, what I love about Atlanta Housewives is a lot of times what you see is truly what you're going to get, right? And I'm saying all that because I know, with some of these reality shows, a lot of stuff is like, it's almost like an act, they're kind of, gearing away towards the true reality of it all and starting to, have like scripts and things that they already know that's going to be planned out. And that's not really the meaning of reality TV, Reality TV is things that you do on a fly, things that we don't see coming, And so when it starts to become scripted, then you take the reality out of, reality television. And you might as well just have it as a scripted television show. But I'm saying all that because what we have seen thus far from the Atlanta Housewives, clearly none of this was scripted, Otherwise, if that were the case, they would have had a talk with Kenya prior to her, doing the things that she did. But it's still sad, It's like I like Kenya. I love Kenya Moore, right? And I've said this before. I feel like she is what's needed when it comes to the dynamic of the show. I feel like she brings a lot of spiciness. She brings the shade. She can steer the pot a lot, and kind of get the wheels turning amongst the storyline of the group. And I feel like Kenya Moore knew how to strategically do things and to keep us in not only in suspense, but to keep us engaged and continuously watching the show. So that's I will give Kenya that. Now, I just wish that Kenya would have thought out her actions, maybe taking a second thought before she did what she did. But let me say this, and let me also say too, because I'm not the one to pick sides. I love Britt Eady too. I really love Britt Eady. I feel like she is a beautiful fresh face. She is very authentic. What you see is truly what you get from her. And that's what we want to see. Again, me as a commentator, as the individual that's watching the show, I want to see that from her. And I like what I see thus far. Now, and I'm pretty sure both ladies will be upset if they were to hear this, but when I look at Britt Eady, I look at a mini Kenya Moore. I really do. And maybe that could be the reason why there was such a tumultuous relationship with them, because they're pretty much one and the same. She's just a younger version of Kenya Moore, in my opinion. I feel like they have a lot of similarities. And trust me, I get if Kenya were to be watching this, she would be probably cursing me out, and probably the same for Britt. But I do see a lot of similarities when it comes to the ladies, and sometimes when you are too much alike, it's gonna be friction, and that's pretty much what happened. I just kind of wish that things would have been scaled back a little bit, or kind of not done to that extreme, because it would have been a really good storyline between those ladies beefing with each other. But of course it ended abruptly because of what transpired. But I know there's more to come with the season. I just like what I'm seeing thus far, because even though a lot of this was already discussed, I discussed a lot of this in previous episodes. It's another thing to see it play out. And I did specify this. I said it. I said, whatever you guys do, please, Bravo, do not hurt us by not, showing everything. Let us understand why, what led to Kenya Moore's suspension. Let us see everything play out. And that's exactly what they did. So, to be completely honest, I'm grateful for, them allowing us to understand the series of events. Now, I'm going to give it to Kenya Moore too, because, effective today is Friday, right? Well, the filming right now is Friday, so I'm pretty sure once it comes out, it may be Saturday, of course. But Kenya Moore does have her YouTube channel actually debuted today. Hopefully you guys are subscribing to her channel. I say that because her losing her job with Atlanta Housewives, that is a huge dent in her financially. And to be honest, despite what transpired, I really don't want. That's even when it comes to my worst enemy. I don't want to see you struggling from a financial standpoint. I don't feel like that's fair. There should always be an even playing field when it comes to. When it comes to the fight amongst one or the other, you know what I mean? I'm hoping that makes sense. But what I'm saying is it's very detrimental when you see someone in, I'm not gonna say she's in financial ruins, but what I'm saying is her no longer having that paycheck, so to speak, from Housewives, that's hurting her tremendously, and it brings a soft spot, into my heart, because technically she's like a single parent, raising her daughter. And so, she's trying to, she even said in the episode that, she pretty much drained Brooklyn's savings for her tuition or college fund or the child's savings account. She drained that to get, Kenya Moore Hair Salon built up, and it's really sad. It's really disheartening, to see what led to her demise, and I do wish Kenya Moore the best, and it's good to see that she is starting her own YouTube channel, confessions or confessionals in her own words. I think we do owe her. We owe her that much to see exactly what it is that she has to say. What are her confessionals? Because despite we were able to see the storyline play out, we were robbed, from her confessionals. And I feel like, it's enough that, she was suspended. It was enough that she couldn't finish out the season. But at least we should have been able to have been granted seeing her confessionals as well. So it's good that she, has started this YouTube channel. And she's going to be able to, hopefully, I'm pretty much... I'm sure she's going to go back from episode 1 leading up to, episode 5 to just, go over her stance on the whole story and the dialogue and how everything played out. This is too much for me to ask for, but it would be nice if... when the reunion came, it would be nice if they did invite Kenya. I too feel like that, again, it's only fair because Kenya did play a major part of, the things that transpired early in the season. So it's only right, to bring her out so that way she can be able to speak on, how she feels about things. And hopefully, who's to say if her and Britt could ever mend fences, but I'm really hoping they can come to some sort of mutual agreement, or I'm pretty sure with them maybe it's going to be agree to disagree. I don't know, but I just feel like they need to come together, speak on what their stance is, speak on how they feel amongst the situation, how Kenya felt, what Britt Edie did, what she said, and then, vice versa. What Britt felt, how, what Kenya did and her actions. I feel like they should have that moment to discuss things, hopefully without things getting heated, I feel like we are deserving of that as well. But, I know some people are probably, tired of this, but I'm not, because look, the ratings are, are pretty good, and mainly because of the things that transpired between Kenya Moore and Britt Edie. So, again, it's only right, it's only natural for there to be a discussion about this, so... with that being said, I want you guys to let me know how you feel about this whole situation that's going on. I'm hoping that you guys will be subscribing and tuning in to Kenya Moore's YouTube channel, because I definitely am. Look, I want Kenya to make a coin, so let's get her channel up there, so that way that can be another stream of income in her pocket. Look, I may not have always been the biggest fan of Kenya Moore, but I am a biggest fan of the impact that she made on the show. And so with that, I will always give credit to where credit is due, which is why I too will be subscribing to her channel, so I can see what it is that she has to say. So I mean, I will be back so I can discuss what it is that she did debut on her episode 1, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be very interesting. But let's just give her some grace. the same way we would do other individuals, you know? Because no one is perfect at the end of the day. You know, we all make mistakes. We all do things. We all go, you know, a little bit too far when we know that we should have scaled it back a little. But, you know, at the end of the day, what's done is done. At this point, it's all about how can you move forward from this, and is there any type of takeaways from what has transpired, you know? I'm hoping this doesn't, you know, put her and Andy in a bad spot or situation, because I too would want to see Kenya Moore come back. Look, if this is truly just a suspension, then maybe this is her just not being able to be a part of season 16. Maybe there'll be a renegotiation for her to come back season 17. I don't know. I'm still hoping for the best, you know? That's just how I see it. So, I mean, let's just stay tuned in. Let's keep the conversation going. I want to know exactly what you guys feel about all of this. And let's just stay into it and keep getting into it. But I do thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure if you want to know more about me, even about my lifestyle, you guys, I've been putting things also on YouTube about, you know, the things I do here in Dallas. I mean, I love to turn up. I'm a socialite, okay? So I just love for you guys to just see my little daily or nightly activities, my nightlife at times. And, you know, just see how I love to just have fun, have a good time. Look, life is short, right? So it's all about just enjoying yourself and just taking one day at a time, and not, you know, taking things seriously all the time. You know, savoring every moment and cherishing moments. You know, that's what it's all about. So, yeah, if you guys want to know more about me, just go to my Instagram page. That's I am Sir Q. I am SIRQUE. And let's get certified with Sir Q. I thank you guys so much for watching as always. And until next time, you guys, peace. For more information like this plus more, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like and comment as well. And a new episode is coming your way this week.